recording. Everybody, welcome back to the show. This is Edward, and then the other mic is.
Is Jake. You know, Edward, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. Bum, 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 bum.
Did you really? You know,
Bum,
the
bum.
first time that I watched that movie, I thought to myself, like, did I want to be a gangster as far back as I can remember? And to be honest, I don't think I did.
No.
Uh,
I remember at one point when I was like a kid, I was like, you know what, I'm going to be a gangster. It's going to be awesome. And then you just realize as you get older that it's a life of pain and misery and paranoia.
it is.
But it's like when you're a little kid, you see some gangster movie and you're like, "Oh wow, wouldn't that be something?" You know, I feel like a lot of adults are still like that. We're like, dude, what the like? I feel like the movie Wolf of Wall Street like fucking ruined a generation because everybody got the complete wrong idea from that movie.
Yes.
Don't you think so? Like, I was thinking about that the other day, actually. Like, people got the wrong fucking idea from that movie. The whole point of that movie, it's the same as Goodfellas, by the way. The whole point of that movie is like this guy is living in the fast lane and pursuing, becoming rich and powerful by illicit means,
Right.
and then, you know, gets caught. And he ruined lives. That guy ruined lives. I'm pretty sure Jordan Belfort's like still paying back the debts and shit. I'm pretty sure his net worth is like negative 500,000 or something like
Really?
negative. Yeah, because he's like still paying back all the people he fucked over. That's why he's like that's why he's still all over the internet with this like self. Have you actually seen like his videos and stuff of the actual Jordan Belfort? Like,
Yes.
yeah, he's like a Ty Lopez type guy. He's like, I'm Jordan Belfort.
He is. I've seen
I'm
him.
gonna teach you how to succeed in sales.
Yeah, he has to. I mean, the guy doesn't have any other options.
Yeah, that guy needs to make that money back before he peels over. But it's just so stupid because like when that movie came out, our whole generation just started making like fan pages and like Twitter accounts like rich,
Yeah.
with like Jordan Belfort in it, and it was just like, oh, you know, rich money lifestyle motivation, and all this shit, and it's like you didn't fucking watch the movie. It's like you turned it off halfway through.
Yeah. No, it's true
You know what I mean?
because that's the issue, and I feel like that's always that has been an issue with like Scorsese movies, which is that they glorify this lifestyle to such an extent,
Yeah.
and they only ever get to being like, but it's not that good, like in the last 30 minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
and it's like it's too
That's so
late.
true.
It's too late because we already fed people 2 hours of being like, oh my god, you get to like, kill people if that's good. It's like you get to get rid of your enemies and you get to buy cars and be rich and have mansions. And
Yeah.
it's like, maybe you should have started. Maybe you should have sprinkled some of the negative of this stuff somewhere. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess not. Cinema, absolute cinema,
Cinema.
absolute cinema.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly feel like the Wolf of Wall Street stuff was like that was like the opening of the gates for
Mhm.
that shit. I feel like that ushered in like the Ty Lopez's and the Tates and the all the self help gurus.
Mhm.
I almost wonder if like Wolf of Wall Street was kind of a prologue to all that shit, you
Mhm.
know. Because
Maybe.
it like primed people. I mean, not purposely. Obviously, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial and act like Scorsese, made that movie for so Ty Lopez could have a career. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like accidentally, like in the zeitgeist. I think it definitely primed our generation of, you know,
or
idiots.
get rich quick schemers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, hey, look, like again, like getting your finances in order is great, and like if you want to get rich, like get rich. Like I want to be rich, but you know, um, personally, it's like I think, and I think Kevin O'Leary, who by the way I hate, but he makes a good point here. He's the mean shark from Shark Tank. Um, I mean, the guy's an absolute idiot, but he actually made a good point in this like one special on NBC or whatever about him in his life. He was talking about, if you are an entrepreneur and you love what you do, you'll get rich. You just won't notice,
Mhm.
because you're just enjoying what you do so much. And in my opinion, I think that's the way to that's the way to do it. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel a different way in 20 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who fucking knows,
Yeah,
dude?
or maybe you and I will both turn a leaf, and we'll ask our subscribers to get on board with our pyramid scheme.
Yeah,
Maybe we should give The Wolf of Wall Street a rewatch. Maybe we got the wrong thing out of that movie. Maybe we should only
yeah.
have watch half the movie and then quit, then stop.
Yeah, and then we just start doing blow and
Yeah. We become friends with Jonah Hill.
yeah. Oh god, what a life that must have been for a little while, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like it was just one big dream for him, though.
Yeah.
Like just one long, like, kind of haze, because the guy was just on drugs all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Jeez.
Fuck, dude. But anyway, folks, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're notified of all our new episodes. Tonight's episode is a commentary.
Yes.
Happy almost October, folks. We're ushering in the spooky season with a commentary on the classic zombie film, Night of the Living Dead.
That's right.
1968, George Romero, who created with this movie, the modern zombie mythology. Before this movie, zombies were, the voodoo zombies. And then
White zombie.
This movie, exactly. Yeah, stuff like White Zombie. Serpent and the Rainbow came after this movie, but it was stuff like that. And Night of the Living Dead is the film that created the the modern interpretation of the zombie, the Walking Dead zombie, where I think what's interesting about I think what captured people's imaginations with zombies is not only I think it's twofold. Like, it's the monsters. On one hand, you have the monsters, which I always found zombies really scary. Like, when I was a kid, I found zombies and mummies, like, which are kind of zombie adjacent, I guess. Just living dead shit I found very scary as a kid. Like, when I was 5 years old, I remember going to a museum and seeing King Tut's mummy encased in glass, and it scared the shit out of me, dude. I remember. It scared the shit out of me. And then I think the first movie to ever really scare the shit out of me was a zombie movie. When I was like 6, I watched Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Did you ever see that one?
Yes, I have.
Dude, that shit was scary, man, especially for a kid. Oh my god. Yeah, for a kids movie, that was dude. Fuck. I remember, dude. I was scared shitless during Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. But yeah, and then, dude, a little, at around that same age, dude, the Thriller video with its zombies, that shit scared the shit out of me, man. The Thriller video scared me. That shit was scary. And the words of Tyler, the Creator, that shit ain't cute.
No, that scared me because I feel like that, and like having seen like the third Scary Movie initiated like a childhood fear for me of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's right.
I was afraid of him.
Oh yeah, well, rightfully so, Edward. Well, according to some, anyway.
He was a zombie.
We won't get into.
He was a zombie.
Yeah, that's
what are you referring to?
Yeah. No, I'm talking about how he was a zombie. He's a zombie.
He's a zombie. Did you see the end of the music video?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that shit scared me. The zombies, like, cornering the girl in the house, really scared me in the Thriller video. And then Michael Jackson's zombie face scared me really badly. I remember, and then of course the ending of the Thriller video
Right.
when he looks back at the camera and has those yellow cat eyes, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, that was really scary.
And then I remember like when I was in maybe 6th grade, I was at it was like Halloween weekend, I think, and I was like at a friend's house with a few friends. We were having a sleepover, and they played. I didn't know what it was, but they played a video on YouTube of Michael Jackson's Ghost, and then it was like ended up being a screamer. You know, where it was
I
like
remember
it was
those.
basically
Yeah, I remember
yeah.
those.
If anyone doesn't know what it is, it's online. It's like basically this news footage was, or this news crew was filming in Michael Jackson's mansion shortly after he died. And there's a part of in the footage where I could probably actually edit this in, honestly. Maybe if it's not copyrighted, I don't know. We'll see. But there's a part in the news footage where down a hall you can see like a shadow go by, and of course people were like, "Oh, it's Michael Jackson's ghost or whatever," ignoring the fact that it could have just been a shadow of a person like behind the camera, like or like somewhere outside, and their shadows like hitting the wall. You know what I mean? But someone took that video and edited in like right after the shadow goes by, so you're looking close for it.
Yeah.
And they edited in a cutout of Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson zombie popping up and doing like a screamer thing. And dude, they played that at full volume, my friends, to scare a few of us, and it scared the shit out of me. I couldn't sleep that night, I remember. It was a combination of that, and then the fact that we also watched a scary movie. And dude, I could barely sleep that night.
Took you out. Took you out. Yeah. They looked at you and they're like, "Oh, we did this guy wrong. He's done."
Oh hell yeah, dude! I remember laying. Oh, dude, I think I laid awake there for hours. Just like in our sleep, we were in our sleeping bags, and I was just laying in my sleeping bag like for hours, dude. And like it was honestly kind of like Skinamarink, where it was just like, am I just trapped in this house at night like forever? Like is morning ever gonna come? And I finally like got a little shut eye and then woke up. But anyway, zombies have always scared the shit out of me. And going back to my initial point, I think it's twofold, right? It's the monster. I think what's scary about zombies is it's just the people. It's the uncanny valley, I think, in my opinion. It's like almost human, but not quite. Just the idea of people who look like us, our neighbors, our family, our friends, rising from the dead, I think is a really scary idea. And then on the other hand, I think what really captures people's imaginations about zombies is basically the world it creates. You look at The Walking Dead,
it's
it
like
creates this
world.
Yeah, it's this world where you can have villains like the governor and Negan, and and 28 Days Later they have human villains. There's always human villains in these movies too. And of course The Walking Dead really just did it to death, where I don't think it's I don't know if zombie films are going to be popular again for a very long time. Because The Walking Dead became like the Simpsons of zombie shows.
Yeah, we're kind of burnt out on
everything. Yeah, for sure. Nevertheless, though, the original Dead trilogy, George Romero's Dead trilogy, I love these movies. I always go back to these. Dawn of the Dead's awesome, and then Day of the Dead's great too.
I've only seen this one.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. I kind of wanted to do Dawn of the Dead, but I figured we'd do this one because we could upload the actual footage, because I believe Dawn of the Dead is copyrighted.
Yes. They fixed their mistakes for that one.
Yeah. Right. Plus, though, we've both seen this one. It's easier to do a commentary on a movie you've seen, I guess. But anyway, man, anything you want to say about about anything before we start?
No, let's get the show on the road. We'll talk shit over the movie.
Yeah, let's do it.
For
All right,
anyone
folks.
listening to this clacking sound, this is me breaking open my drink. So forgive me for that.
Yeah.
Forgot to do it before we started. There we go.
Oh, very troubling.
I know.
Very troubling behavior, Edward.
I know. after all our the things that we've learned.
Yeah. All right.
We're ready.
All right, folks, and I won't even do a countdown. I'll put the timestamp in the description just in case you want to have your own copy, but our copy's gonna be right on the screen. So here we go.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, man, it's that time of year, bro. It's almost that time of year. Dude, every year now, I start celebrating Halloween middle of September. The second it gets cool out, I bust out the scary movies. I bust out the fall candles, bro.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. I light fall candles.
Yeah.
What you gonna say about it?
Well, that was the feeling.
Someone out there making fun of me, I don't care.
No, that was the feeling. That's why last week we decided to get this going, because it feels like there's like so many horror movies and so much to do, like with scary movies, and it's like, oh, it's just a month, It's like a month, 4 episodes. Like, we might as well get started like now and start the horror show early. I know that a lot of people really enjoy the horror content, regardless of when it is, regardless of what time of the year it is. People enjoy some scary stuff.
Yep. Yeah, man. And I obviously ramp up the horror stuff in October, for Halloween myself. I mean, I watch horror year round, but I binge it in October for sure. I celebrate Halloween like Christmas, honestly. I mean, with that level of seriousness. I love it.
It's funny looking at this, because I've seen this movie so many times, and I always forget how this starts, and I always go like, "Oh yeah, that's right, it's him," and it's like her, and like her husband, her brother. Who is this guy?
Her brother,
yeah.
They're going to the cemetery.
Yeah, and then that's when chaos ensues. That's when things get rowdy. That's when things get going.
Mm-hmm.
They ought to make the day the time changes the first day of summer.
What?
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now, we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugs you...
Yeah, when is that, by the way? Because, like, we're watching this, and it's, like, about that time, isn't it? Daylight's changing, John?
I figure we're either going to have to move Mother
Savings?
out
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it, like, soon? Isn't it now, or is it in October?
Yeah, it's always in October, I think, when we get an hour back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look at this thing.
It's always nice.
Does that mean that we get to sleep in,
I was
or
at
that
your
we...
house. I was at your house when we lost an hour, wasn't I?
I think so.
Sad day.
I
remember that. Yeah, when we were like, dude, we were up drinking or
something.
Something.
That's right.
Like,
that's right. Then it became like 2 in the morning. Yeah.
That's funny.
So now we're gonna go back in time. We're gonna travel.
Yeah. It's funny, yeah. I remember watching a documentary about this movie, and George Romero wanted to incorporate, because he has that with the radio, and then the TV scenes later, where they have. He wanted it to feel very like 50s sci-fi, with like the news bulletins and the like, what is going on?
Really.
And this special bulletin.
There's something happening out there. There's some folks, they look dead. We're not sure. Be careful.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how this one starts in a cemetery at the beginning. It's like, but, they don't come out of the grave in this one,
Mm-hmm. Because the song is already out there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It was more of, I guess, like an aesthetic thing in this one to get the idea in your mind of living dead.
Yeah.
I guess. Kind of interesting.
I wonder what happened
But it's
to the
interesting
one
in
from
this movie
last year.
because
Each
in
year
this
we spend
movie,
good
it's
money on
like
these things. We come out here and the one from last year's
they
gone.
first introduce the fact
flowers
that
die.
dead people come back to
The
life,
caretaker or
and
somebody takes them
then
away.
they introduce the fact that
Yeah,
you
well,
can
spend it so
also
she can clean
become a
this up.
zombie by getting bitten.
Mhm.
Sell it next
In The
year.
Walking Dead, they did the
Wonder how many times
opposite.
we bought
I
the
remember
same one.
they you don't people get bitten. That's like a given, but you don't find out until later
That
that
people can
everyone
come back to
carries
life.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens, I believe, in The Walking Dead when well, I don't know. That's kind of a spoiler.
Who cares?
It's a huge
Who
spoiler.
cares about who cares about
Who
spoilers?
cares about
If
The
you're
Walking Dead?
listening to this and
It's when
you're
Carl shoots.
actually don't spoil it. For those out there, it's like, oh man, I've really been waiting to get into The Walking Dead all these years.
Yeah, that's when Carl shoots a person
Mhm.
and then he pops back up. You remember that scene on
I
the
remember
farm?
that. Yeah, I remember that too.
That was a great scene.
Mhm.
Hey, I mean, praying's for church,
I mean, The Walking Dead was good for
It
a
was
while.
good, man. I think I would say I would go as far as to admit that it was good for like 3 or 4
Not
seasons.
much sense in
Yeah,
being
no,
a
that's where I
Do you
stand on
remember
it. It
one
was good
time
for
when
like
we were
3.5
sleeping, we were out here?
seasons.
Yeah,
Because
It was
season 4
right
started to
over
get
there.
boring.
I jumped out at you from behind the tree, and Grandpa
I remember
I think
grabbed
the
that.
my hand,
last
and he
truly
kissed me,
great
and he said,
moment was
"Boy, you be damned to
that
hell."
part where the
Remember that?
sequence where
Right over
Rick
there.
like bites that guy's throat out.
I remember that. I remember that. That I think
That was like the last great moment of the show, I think.
it's funny because like it was soon after is when I stopped watching the show.
Yeah.
Because I stopped watching The Walking Dead. I remember clearly. I don't remember which season it was, but it was this. Do you remember that season that they had those like cannibals?
Yeah, that was 5.
That's where I stopped. I stopped in that
Yeah.
season. Like I saw the conclusion of that when they defeated them, and
Mhm.
then I remember that the very last episode that I watched was where the kid from Everybody Hates Chris and the girl are like in that like weird hospital, and then they come back
Mhm.
to like rescue her and them, and they
Yeah.
and then but they're too late, I guess. Spoilers, but
Yeah.
obviously that spoiler takes
Bad,
a little bit
right?
of interpretation. Um, but that I remember that's literally the last episode that I watched. Now it's like I'm done.
Mhm.
After that
Yeah.
episode, I was like, I'm not watching. I'm never watching this ever. I never watched it again. I only watched like like parts or like even episodes because you were watching it because we stuck to that show.
Yeah, well, cuz it was like it was like my dad and I, it was our
It was you guys'
show,
show,
where
yeah.
yeah, it was like a tradition, but it eventually, it was like after we stopped we stopped after the Negan storyline concluded, at least with the war with Negan,
Dude, I
because he
have to.
sticks around.
Let me interrupt
But
you. I do have to say that this guy is perfect.
oh
He's
yeah,
so lanky and tall, and his face is so long. He's
oh yeah,
perfect. Like to introduce this like idea, and to introduce the idea of like the zombie being like overpowering and intimidating. This guy was. I feel like Romero saw this guy and he was like, it's you.
yeah,
Come.
dude.
Cancel the rest of the auditions, and this is the guy. I feel like he
It's got to be
probably
this
I
guy.
feel like he probably walked out into like the room full of the people who were auditioning, like sitting outside, and he saw that guy, and he was like, "You got the job. You over there. Anybody can
Oh hell
leave."
yeah.
This guy's perfect.
Oh, he's a legend, dude. And look what zombies used to do. They used to be smarter.
Yeah, you got a rock.
Yeah, they're smarter in this movie. I mean, they even dude, in The Walking Dead season 1, I forget this,
They
but
got
once in a
slower
while
and
I'll
dumber, didn't
rewatch.
they?
Yeah, because in the first season I'll rewatch it sometimes, like certain episodes, or once or twice I've rewatched like the whole first season for Halloween time. Because Walking Dead season 1, it has a great. It feels like these movies.
Mhm.
Like Frank Darabont really made it
He really
feel
did.
like classic
Yeah.
Romero.
Yeah.
And but in that first season, dude, they're like running slow. They're like jogging. They climb a ladder. I remember there's one scene where Rick and Glenn climb up a ladder, and the zombies start climbing up after them.
Yeah.
The very first zombie in The Walking Dead, the little girl, I think she picks up a teddy bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, you forget, man. They hit shit with rocks. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, then they just become like lumbering.
Exactly, because that was the shitty thing about it, because then eventually they just become a hindrance. You know, it's like, oh, you can outpace them if you walk quickly enough. Like, they just become a hindrance, and it's like, and then the story just devolves into like human drama of being like other humans against other humans, and it's like, well, what about the fucking zombies? You know?
Yeah, and then and I remember when my dad and I would watch that show like in later seasons. We watched through season 8, and then we had to call it quits. We just had no interest in continuing.
This is enough.
Yeah, and you know there would be scenes where it was like you could hear the writers being like, "Oh shit, we have to include the zombies in this episode," and so they would just shoehorn them in. Like there'd be a scene where some characters would be walking along the road, and suddenly like some zombies would come out of the woods randomly, and it was just kind of like, you know,
it's like, oh,
where the fuck are these?
Remember Scarface? Remember that we had zombies in this show?
Remember zombies?
Yeah.
But you're right, because it became like Game of Thrones almost, but without any of the fun. Like it became Game of Thrones without dragons and without, you know, interesting characters, basically.
Yeah.
And guns that shouldn't be working at that point.
Yeah.
I know someone pointed that out.
Well, it made what's his name? Norman Reedus? Is that his name? It made that guy's whole career.
Oh yeah, yeah. They have a Daryl Dixon solo show going right now,
and it's like still him. He's still doing it.
Yeah,
they must have paid that guy so much money.
Oh yeah, dude. I watched the trailer for it. It looks so stupid.
Really?
Yeah, it's like Daryl washes up. He washes up on the shore of like Normandy or something in fucking France, like. And then he just goes on this. I don't know this. It's like this new adventure, but it's just like, why are we putting Daryl Dixon like in France? That's just so dumb.
He's the most popular character.
Yeah, well, that doesn't. I don't know. It's just like it's Daryl Dixon. He's like a, you know, country boy. Shouldn't this feel like a? I don't know. Shouldn't it feel like a? I don't know. It's like, shouldn't you do like an Unforgiven type thing or a Logan type thing? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I always felt like Norman Reedus just had like a really limited range as an actor.
Well, it's because you've only seen him as one guy.
Exactly. You know,
and you don't know what his range is.
And the funny thing is that it feels like he's content with that. Because it's like, aren't you like, wouldn't you want to be like, okay, I've done, you know, a decade of my life a decade plus of my life I dedicated to one show that made me a household name, made me popular, made me rich. It's like, wouldn't you after that just think to yourself, like, let me try and see, like, what else is out there for me, what I can do, you know, like, what am I capable of? It's like, no, I'm just going to keep doing this.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's, because I was thinking that too, but it's like, I think it's scary for an actor who's been on one television show for that long. Because we were talking about it last week. The guy from the Cosby Show or whatever, he, you know, became a bagger at a store, you know. I mean, I'm not saying Norman Reedus definitely has enough money to never have to do that, but it's like, you know, who's to say that anyone would cast him in anything after that?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you certainly don't see Rick getting casted in anything.
But it's funny because that guy actually was an actor, like, before that. He was in movies, you know.
Yeah, he was.
So, like,
oh shit, I guess, yeah, this part, dude.
I guess after that, he just decided to call it quits. Oh jeez.
Oh fuck, dude. A creepy ass face.
Poor woman.
Yeah. You know what I want to see too is the remake of this movie from the 90s. It's apparently like a forgotten gem.
A remake from the 90s?
Yeah, of Night of the Living Dead. It was directed by Tom Savini, the guy who did the makeup and effects for Dawn of the Dead and a ton of other horror movies. He's like a makeup and effects legend. Mm-hmm. But he directed the remake in the 90s, and apparently it's like a, you know, a hidden gem kind of thing. And they sort of fix her character in that, where they actually make her like, you know,
do things.
yeah.
Because she like
I was about to say useful, and I was like, that doesn't sound right.
well, because sadly for her character, she kind of remains kind of like a little bit of like she becomes like a background character. Obviously, we get introduced to things through her eyes, and then she
Yeah.
just like kind of I guess gets like shocked. Like she just remains in shock and just loses all agency, and then people just kind of push her around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this gentleman becomes our protagonist.
Yeah, handsome fella.
Which he's a great protagonist. Yeah. He's I mean, he's got guts, that's for sure.
Right, and obviously,
unlike that thing laying there.
Obviously, with this character is kind of where we get the social commentary of this film at the end.
Yeah. It's interesting how George Romero denies that, too. He just said that they just casted him because he was the best actor out of their friends. Which, I don't know, it's like, who knows, man? If all that social commentary toward the end is throughout the movie, but especially at the end,
yeah,
is an accident, that's one hell of a,
It's one of a coink dink.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a bit of subtext, that's been laid down accidentally.
Right, because you can't divorce it from the movie when you watch it. So it's like,
Yeah.
It's like this ever-present element.
Yeah, we talked about that in Johnny Roberts' horror class in college. I remember when we watched this film and then we talked about that, and it's like, well, it's like, does it really... We kind of had the conversation about, does it matter if the filmmakers... if what's in the subtext of the film were the filmmaker's intentions, were the artist's intentions, and it's like, well, not really, because it's kind of up to the interpreter.
No, of course, because obviously that's I guess that's where the it's such a debate, right? Like the whole idea of like death of the author and whether it matters, like what the intent of something was, and it's like It's like if there's like you said, if there's a valid interpretation of a meaning within a work, then it's valid regardless of what the author says,
Right.
But I feel like there's also instances in which what the author intended to do or to say it's also worth exploring,
Yeah, definitely. The bitches are smart, dude. Look at them, man. They're smashing the headlights.
Smashing the headlights. So like, we know what's going on.
This movie.
Not smart enough to get out of the way.
Yeah.
So this guy looks like he has some intent. He looks like he's trying to bust my head open.
This movie, I will say, this is probably one of the scariest zombie movies for me. Just the idea. I've always found the idea of being trapped in like a farmhouse out in the country with creatures outside, like just a really scary idea.
It is a really scary idea, legitimately.
Yeah, I mean, for a black and white horror film, I think this movie's, it's scary.
Maybe it legitimately just adds to it the fact that it is black and white.
Oh yeah,
look at that! You have so much dark, like so many shadows.
Oh yeah, because we had the option to watch this in color, and I was like, no, hell no. But yeah, dude, because I watched I mentioned this on one of our previous episodes, but I watched that movie Dog Soldiers a few weeks ago, and that was one of the aspects of the movie that I liked was, they're holed up in this farmhouse with werewolves outside. That's fucking scary. That's just a scary idea. But yeah, just the whole thing in this movie, that claustrophobia of just being in this house and the zombies encircling it, it's scary, man. It's scary, no matter, just because it's some old black and white film from the 60s with outdated gore effects, and shit like that. I don't know. Oh man, on a primal level, still creeps me out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This shit creeps me out, man.
And that's the thing about zombies too. They just fucking... And dude, that feeling too, if you've ever played Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah,
Feeling of just them just multiplying.
Yeah,
you see these hordes of them and you just feel like helpless. You're just like, holy shit, like I can't get away. But yeah, I will say there is a comfort in movies like this and shows like The Walking Dead where the zombies are slow. Where, like I watched 28, we watched 28 weeks
28 weeks later is not fun. Or even 28 days later where they're just
Yeah.
sprinting. Because at that point it
Oh,
feels like an impossibility. It's like, this is
yeah.
over. It's over. There's nothing to do. This zombies are running after you.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. That's how I feel with that. Like 28 Days Later is a great movie, by the way.
Yeah. It's a
you've seen 28 Days, right?
Of course, yeah. Danny Boyle, dude. That guy is so underrated as a director. He's the guy who directed what's the name of that movie? The Steve Jobs movie with Fassbender.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. Yeah, man. 28 Days Later is a great film. But yeah, when they move fast like that, it's like you said, man, it just the world feels way more dangerous.
Yeah.
It's sort of a trade-off though, because then, generally the ones with faster zombies turn into action horror.
Exactly. Yeah.
There is something, I don't know what it is, but something about the lumbering slow zombies, even though it's somewhat safer, there is still something really creepy about the trudging slow zombies. I don't know if it's just the way they walk, the janky movements or something, but it's still creepy.
I think there's something to that, I think there's something to that because obviously it's creepy when they run just because of the idea of being like, oh my god,
like being actually outpaced by those things.
Exactly, because in the what is it, 28 weeks later, like that sequence in like the backstory of how that guy like lost his wife because he like abandoned her, and just seeing how quickly it can just overwhelm you. That's insane,
Yeah, I'm picturing it now where he's just running through the field and they're just like sprinting after him.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's insane. Because I remember when I watched that movie, I was like, how is it possible that humans remain? It's not possible. It's not possible. When they're just running around like that. Like this gives you a little more of like an existential crisis when they just walk.
Yeah.
Because it feels like you have more time, but then it feels like for how much time? It still feels inevitable,
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Because it's like it's almost like the movie It Follows, where it's just like eventually these things are going to catch up to me. Yeah. Eventually, I'm going to get cornered or fall into a pit full of them, or whatever.
Right.
Get surrounded.
And I feel like it overwhelms you too, because in movies like that, it makes you feel like it's your fault.
Yeah.
And then
exactly.
it messes with your psyche because it's like, oh, could this have been avoided? Like, could I have done things differently? Am I just a fool that I died to these like really slow zombies? It's fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, this is creepy. I don't remember this. That's kind of a cool little touch right there.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of an existential touch.
This guy's getting down to business. He's like, we have to barricade the doors.
Yeah. I know. And she's just like in the other room playing with toys. It's just like
she's just I mean, I can't blame her because she's just trying to escape reality. She's like, how can I get away from this?
Yeah, I know George Romero because in Dawn and Day both have really strong female protagonists, and he said it was like he felt like he was apologizing for this movie with both of those movies. Which I could definitely see that. But
yeah, because
I mean, I don't know. It's not terrible though. I mean, she did just see her brother die. I mean, it's not totally unrealistic.
No, it's not beyond reason, but you do have to make some excuses.
Yeah. Yeah, it is just more, I'm sure in the remake, I haven't seen the remake, but I'm sure in the remake it's just more engaging to have a character actually, take life by the balls and be like, all right, I watched my brother die in a cemetery, but
But whatever, I'm gonna survive.
Yeah.
I won't let the zombies take me down.
That poor woman, man. Dude, she's just stood there. She's like trying to help, man. I feel bad for her.
That's just feeling the doors. Oh, this feels like a good door.
Yeah.
This is a
Now,
good
this
door.
guy right here, like, this is who you'd want by your side in the apocalypse, man.
Yeah,
this guy's taking care of business.
No, he's taking care of business. He's taking action. He's like, this is what needs to happen to ensure survival.
Hell yeah. I love that little dissolve right there. I love classic horror, man. Love classic horror. I gotta make my list for October. I always make like a big fucking list. I separate it by eras of horror too.
Of all the movies you want to see before the end of the month.
Yeah, generally what I do is I make the list bigger than is possible to watch, and then I just pick from the list and I get to what I get to.
Mm-hmm.
That's generally how I do it. I mix in stuff I haven't seen before with stuff I have seen, you know. But I divide it into kind of 4 eras basically, which I can't take credit for this. The Angry Video Game Nerd Cinemassacre, he came up with this grouping of horror films where you have this is like his grouping of it. You have the Golden Age, which was your classic 30s and 40s, like monster movies, Frankenstein, Dracula, Mummy, Wolfman, cat people, all that shit. White Zombie. Then you have what he called the Silver Age, which was the 50s and 60s. You had like your Vincent Price horror movies, you know. You had this one, right? You had your Hitchcock shit, right? And then you had the Bronze Age, which was the 70s and 80s, where they started to up the gore, you know, Exorcist, Texas Chainsaw, Nightmare on Elm Street, etc. And then you have the modern era. So because I have OCD, I separate my list into those sections during October. And then I'm like, all right, I want to do a Silver Age, or I want to do a, modern age. I don't know. I'm a nerd, Edward.
This is our last. This is our second run at this, isn't it? Because we did this. I remember we did this last year because we watched that movie Black Christmas, right?
That was around Christmas that we watched that.
Really? We've been at this for a bit. So I'm recollecting of the movies that we saw last time.
Yeah. We watched Terrified, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
That piece of shit.
That was.
It had so much promise at the beginning.
Yeah.
The first act was fucking scary.
The first act was scary.
The little boy sitting at the dinner table, dead.
Yeah. Oof.
Crawled out of the grave and just came home.
Yeah, that movie had so much potential.
Yeah, and then it just became dumb.
Staring at me. I started to drive. I just plowed right through them.
Good for you, pal.
Just stood there staring at me.
He's like, I had to go to work. I didn't know what else to do.
I had the right of way, damn it.
There are laws against, what is it they call that? Jaywalking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny and me. Johnny. We came to put
I had a really important job interview.
I could have missed the interview.
And now the world's ending. So.
But I still hope they call me on Monday. It's only Friday night, There's hope.
We didn't have any.
Yeah, dude, you definitely got to watch Dawn and Day for sure.
Yeah, I haven't.
Those are both fantastic.
I haven't taken to it,
Oh,
but I should. It's been long enough.
Dawn of the Dead's awesome. It's well, what's interesting about this movie too is it spawned 2 separate timelines.
Mm-hmm.
So because George Romero and then another guy retain half the rights basically. So
they each like went their own way.
exactly, they had disagreements over which direction they wanted to take the series in. So George went off and did Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, and the other guy went off and did the Return of the Living Dead movies in the 80s. Do you remember those?
Yes.
Have you heard of those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're more like horror comedy, which I actually haven't seen those. My sister, funny enough, watched one of those like last week or something and said it was really good.
Really?
So yeah, but I've seen clips from it and stuff. It's very like 80s thriller video type stuff. And you can definitely see why they had disagreements, because George wanted to obviously keep doing more serious, grounded stuff like this movie. Dawn of the Dead's great. I mean, you've seen the Zack Snyder version, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, the Romero original is like way better, in my opinion.
This scene always unsettles me. That's why I'm like quiet, because I'm watching it. And it unsettles me, like how she goes on about this. And that guy's just telling her like to. He's like, be quiet. You're making too much noise.
Yeah, because noise draws them in, draws the zombies in, bro. They don't even call them zombies in this movie. That's an interesting little thing. They call them ghouls, I think.
Yeah. When did that become a thing anyway?
In Dawn of the Dead, he calls them zombies like once, and I think it stuck. Yeah. And then I think also the Italian cut was called Zombie.
Zombie, just that? Zombie?
Yep.
They really know how to title movies, don't they? Like, this is all the information that they need. The audience, this is all they need. Every zombie movie should be called Zombie Movie. Every like superhero should be called Superhero Movie.
Yeah. But that, I believe that's how it stuck. Oh man! Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh man, she really.
She took that.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I was about to say she really took that. Like,
yeah, because he looked like
he hit her with a haymaker.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she passed out. Damn.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
it's interesting because
public service announcement: Film Tangents does not support this type of behavior.
No, but it's of course. I mean, of course not. That goes without saying. But it's interesting that
I was just making a joke.
It's funny, but it's funny. It's funny that because you did have to say that in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because people sometimes like get too up in arms. But yeah. This movie, it's fascinating with him because there's something about his performance that says like, oh, I didn't mean to do that, but it's almost that because of what's happening, you know, he's like on edge and he's just like fine. He's like in his head, it's like violence is the only answer. You know, it's like we're living in a world right now where violence is the only answer. I have to be violent. You know, like. In order to fix the issue with the Walking Dead coming into the home, I had to kill them, you know. So it almost feels like that. Like there's kind of this like slippery slope with the character. And it kind of showed in his performance where his face was kind of like, oh my god, did I really just do that? You know?
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I went out for a second, but Mike went out for a minute. I assumed you were saying something intelligent during that time because I couldn't hear you either.
Really? No, what I was saying was that to the audience, to repeat it to the audience as well.
We'll have to use your audio for that part.
To clarify my point, all that I was saying is that it feels like through his performance, he's kind of showing that he didn't intend to do that, you know?
Yeah.
But I was saying that with his character, it feels like his character is like this slippery slope, you know? Where it's like he starts... It's like with him, it's just like, oh, violence is the answer to the problems, you know. But it's like, well, not every issue requires you to use violence. But obviously, you know, I guess we'll see how things go for this character.
Yeah,
because that was a situation where he didn't need it. He didn't need to do that.
No, definitely not. Well, so and I believe what George Romero, if I remember correctly, his intention with this whole home situation, the plot in the home here was it's supposed to be a mini representation of society.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that other family comes in here in a little bit, which I don't remember it taking this long for them to join the.
It's been a minute. We're
plot.
literally 1/3 of the way through the film.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember. I didn't remember them taking that long, but it was pretty brilliant because he couldn't do they didn't have the budget to do a sweeping sort of film where they could show society really falling apart. They did that more in Dawn. So he just did it as more of a metaphorical kind of symbolic way in this movie, which was pretty brilliant. Yeah, I love the claustrophobia of this film. Claustrophobia, this movie, just being in the house, man, and that radio going.
Do you remember what year this movie came out? This is a 70s film, right? Or is it a 60s film?
1968. And then Dawn came out exactly 10 years later, 78. But yeah, Dawn of the Dead's great. Obviously they have the whole shopping mall kind of thing where they're living in the mall and everything. And then they have sort of a prologue too in Dawn of the Dead where you really start to see society fall apart. So they show the full sort of apocalypse, and then it becomes post-apocalyptic. And then Day of the Dead's just post-apocalyptic. Day of the Dead probably has one of the best villains, like the most underrated villain of all time, probably. Quite a performance.
Day of the Dead has?
Yeah, Day of the Dead. Captain, what's his name? Captain Rhodes, I think. He's like a military guy. He lords over all the scientist people and stuff, and they're in their bunker. Great performance. He's like a great fucking 80s villain. Classic performance.
North Carolina.
Oh yeah. We wouldn't know anything about that place.
No, it's a really far off place from where we are recording, and the McDonald's here in Japan that we're recording.
Oh man.
Look at him smoking.
Yeah, I love how classic horror films like this too. They just weren't afraid to take their time.
No, we're just looking at this guy really just like scavenging. He just found this gun, and he's trying to look for the bullets.
Yeah, but they kept it suspenseful. It's still engaging. I feel like nowadays, if a horror movie, if some shitty horror movie takes its time, it just makes it worse than it would have already been.
Usually.
I was really impressed with that too, and I rewatched the other night. I rewatched The Descent.
Really?
Yeah. Dude. Because I was with my family this past weekend, and I
You forced it onto the
just my dad. I wanted to show my dad that movie because it's fall time. We wanted to watch something scary, and we watched it, and I mean, I've seen that movie a number of times, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The Descent raises my blood pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm really impressed. I mean, for me, that's top 10 scariest films of all time.
Really?
That's one of the top 10 films that scares me the most. I would say is The Descent. Falls somewhere in the middle if I had to put them in order. Dude, I was so impressed by just how they build suspense in that movie. I mean, you don't see those creatures until like halfway through. But I mean, the before they even appear on screen, the movie is just raising your fucking blood pressure.
Yeah, I mean, just it's one of those films like it at the very least it's like the greatest like claustrophobia film of all time.
Yeah.
Because it's one of
Oh
those
yeah,
films
definitely.
where it's like just the like you can even remove like the weird ghouls, like the weird
Yep.
like underground ghouls, and just the fact that it's about people going into a cave and
Oh
going through
yeah.
these like little crooks and crannies that just become like tighter and tighter and tighter. It's like that in and of itself is enough.
Oh, 100%,
And then when
man.
you add the fact that there's like just weird creatures crawling around there in the dark that can
Yeah.
see, or rather that can, what is it? They react to like sound and movement, right?
Yeah, they're blind, but
Yeah, they're blind.
it's basically like A Quiet Place before A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
But the monsters are way better. Because that's another thing. I was watching that movie and I'm like, these monsters, like it was all practical effects, makeup, as far as I could tell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, if this movie was made nowadays in America, because that's a British horror film, if this movie was made nowadays in America, you'd have the fucking, the stock, like Cloverfield slash Quiet Place slash Stranger Things monsters in that cave, and they'd all be CG and have those like long tendril arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was laughing because I was thinking like, oh, it's when you said it's like a quiet place, I thought to myself like, oh, it's like a quiet place without the spoilers for a quiet place. That I don't care. It's like a quiet place without the scene where John, what's his face?
John Krasinski.
John Krasinski does the Tarzan yell.
Oh yeah.
Where he goes like, oh,
yeah.
that scene. Like, that movie is such a Hollywood movie, man. I can't
Oh,
believe
yeah.
that movie like did so well with like audiences, because that's like the epitome of just like some Hollywood like by the numbers. Young Krasinski's gonna yell and save his kids in some dumb way. Like I can't stand that movie. Can't stand that movie. And it has those CG monsters that you're talking about.
But I saw there was like a while back an article that this I think it was like some evangelical Christian wrote that like A Quiet Place was the most Christian film of the year because of that
Really?
self-sacrifice scene, and I was just
Really?
like, shut the fuck up.
Ugh. I don't know, man. If you're listening to this and you're like A Quiet Place, unsubscribe.
we lose
we lose everybody. Everybody unsubscribes. Like no, if you're listening to this and you're like A Quiet Place, all the power to you. I'm just a hater a lot of the time with movies.
I like A Quiet Place. I think it's like decent. You know what I mean?
You know, Jake, I think you should unsubscribe from the channel. You know what? You know what? I think you should unsubscribe from this podcast as a host.
You see, this is one of those old timey arguments. Look, see, we
Yeah,
can't.
yeah,
We have to board up the window, see.
There's that guy with that horrible haircut.
Yeah.
You know what that
Yeah,
guy looks like?
it's Paulie from Rocky.
You know, he reminds me, for any of those who were watching YouTube videos in anytime, anywhere from 2008 to like 2012, that guy reminds me of Ray William Johnson from the YouTube show Equals 3.
I don't think I've seen
Like, dude, if you Google Ray William Johnson, he looks exactly like this guy.
Oh, you mean the younger guy?
Yeah, the younger guy.
Oh my god, yeah. That
The guy
does
with the little
look
like
him.
bowl haircut.
Not that guy.
No, not that guy.
The other guy.
The
one
other
that said,
guy.
"Look, mister."
Yeah, because that guy just looks like that comedian. I forget what his name is. Like Todd something. But yeah, no, the other dude, the other guy looks. The other guy looks exactly like Ray William Johnson. And the thing is, that Ray William Johnson is also like a really short guy. He's like probably like 5'5", 5'4". So he looks exactly like that guy. If you're listening, brother of mine, Eddie, he knows. he'll if you look at the screen, if Jake put the footage, you will recognize this. Which we have to make sure this film's not like actually like owned by something now.
Her channel gets deleted.
Deleted. Everything's gone.
We'd get a strike, I think, right?
Yeah, we'll get a strike. I think it's like
It'll tell you though as you're uploading it. I think
yeah,
if
it'll
it
be
has
like it
any
contains
strikes.
copyrighted content. But sometimes that system fails because there's like YouTubers that upload something and then like a week later it's like, ah, you're done, son.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your
It's still
channel's
there's stuff that's
your
still.
channel's forfeit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
There used to be such a big issue on YouTube. Like at some point, like in 2014, 2015, 2016, that was like the biggest thing. Like content creators were constantly losing their channels and like making
yeah,
like a video that then was shared by everybody else, being like, guys, you need to support this creator and contact YouTube and tell them to give them back their channel because it was taken down on their unfair pretenses or whatever.
yep.
That was happening all
No,
the time.
yeah, this movie's in the public domain. We're good, man. There's like 50 copies of this on YouTube
Really?
as we
Everybody,
speak.
everybody
Yeah.
uploaded their own version. It's like,
Oh
well, this is how
yeah.
I'm gonna pay my rent this month.
Yeah. I mean, I checked and double checked.
I'm gonna upload Night of the Living Dead on YouTube.
Yeah, it was like between this. I was thinking either this or I chose this one. I ended up going with this one because we could, upload it. But I was thinking of the other option I had in my mind was Jeepers Creepers. I thought would have been a good one to do commentary on. So that's actually, Jeepers Creepers is pretty good in my opinion. Despite there's a lot of like really bad plot contrivances in it.
But I mean, you remember when you remember when I watched that with you? Like I really thought it was like at the very least like a really enjoyable movie, and it has like really great moments.
Yeah, it does. It's very well made, by a scumbag, but yeah, it's a well made horror film.
What can you do, man? It turns out that most people doing. It turns out that most of these creatives are
Scumbags.
Yeah.
Do you know what the director of Jeepers Creepers did?
Yeah.
You've heard about that, right?
I've talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even. I won't mention it on. The
yeah,
podcast,
no, we probably should mention it.
Everybody has a naked zombie.
Everybody, you can Google that. You can find that out on your own.
Yep. Damn, dude, it's a lot of them.
Just gathering. They know that there's a party there.
Yeah, these scenes are creepy here, dude. I mean, with the just kind of that ghostly drone right there, just watching them stumble around.
The thing that George Romero didn't tell the audience, or the thing that he failed to communicate to the viewer, was was that the zombies have a power of they have the power of telepathy, so they can communicate with each other. So that's why they all know to show up to that house.
Yeah,
they all tell the other ones like come to the house. And by saying,
bro, it's the sound. It's the sound that's drawing them in.
And by saying "come to the house," they know which house they have to go to. No, I know what the sound.
Yeah, you're finding plot holes that aren't there, Edward.
Hey man, I'm playing with the imagination.
You're counting your chickens before they hatch. I don't know if that. I don't think that phrase even works here, but I thought it would sound. Funny.
No, they're having another argument. Ray William Johnson and the other two fellas.
You can be the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
Jeez.
You bastards. I want to open this door again.
I am in it.
Mr. Cooper, with your help, we could... With my help?
Let him go, man. His mind is made up. Just let him go.
Wait a minute. Judy, come on up here, honey.
So these two are husband and wife?
Yeah. I think
Who the hell is that?
I think Ray William
that guy?
Johnson and the woman.
Oh. For some reason I had this memory that it was I didn't remember a third dude there. I thought it was that guy who's in the cellar right now and a wife and their daughter, but I guess he's just some rando.
Mr. Cooper,
what is he doing in there again? He's like there with like the kid? There's a kid.
Hey, kid.
Yeah, there's a kid down in the cellar that has a bite.
Yeah.
Which, these folks haven't seen The Walking Dead, so they don't know what
They don't know what's going on.
how
They
that's
don't, they
gonna
don't,
end.
they don't,
Yeah.
they don't know what's gonna happen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Oh
is
yeah,
this
that's
guy's
there.
wife and
Oh,
his
that's right.
daughter.
Okay. Oh, there's like more people in this house than I remember.
What about Tom and Judy?
They want to stay up there and let them.
Although I agree with this guy that technically he was right in basically being like we should all just go down to the basement, but he was strong in the sense that his daughter's a zombie. He didn't know.
Yeah. What was the our main guy? What was his argument against it? I was talking through it.
I think that this whole thing is that if push comes to shove, if they're in the basement, they're gonna be trapped there.
Right. Yeah, because that would be my hesitation.
Yeah,
At least
but
in the house, you have somewhere to go.
right, but on the other hand, yeah, in the house they can leave. Like if they all
Yeah.
come in from one end, they can just leave the other end.
Right.
It was warm. Maybe it's shock.
Because they could just bust down that door to the basement.
Exactly.
I don't
Then
know
you're
what
trapped in
the
there.
hell's the basement. Yeah, what the hell's the basement do?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he boarded it up, but
Still, like those zombies are pretty strong. I feel like they can all do it. They can all just take that down. And then,
Yeah.
even if they don't, it's like then you're trapped down there. It's like what if they just remain in that house, just like walking around? It's like how are you gonna eat? Where are you gonna go? You're trapped.
Yep.
That's important, isn't it?
What?
Which to me that was always like a big thing with like The Walking Dead. To go back to that
Mhm.
it's like the group just kept increasing, and they were like, okay, I guess we're gonna be in this jail this whole season. In my head, also it's kind of like, isn't it better? Like, I guess not when you come to the realization that eventually just became like a turf, like that show became like a turf wars.
Yep.
Where it's like, oh, these humans against these humans, and it's like who's got the more fucking versatile people who can shoot and do things. And it's like, oh, Rick
Yep.
has a bunch of dummies and Daryl. Like with Rick, it's just him and Daryl really protecting a bunch of dummies.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was always like, shouldn't you guys just like stick to small groups and just like huddle up in a house,
Yeah.
and gather resources when you need to, and then just huddle up in there watching DVDs or something until you die? Like, shouldn't that be the goal here?
Until you die.
Like,
Watching DVDs. So yeah, there's no electricity, bro.
but you're gonna have to do something.
Those people
Yeah.
are enemies.
They're gonna have to get their hands on.
Ben, we can watch the game.
They're gonna have to get themselves one of those like TVs from Drake and Josh, the one that they like spin. You remember that? That like Crazy Steve just like spins it and then it like it turns on. Yeah.
Crazy Steve, yeah, and he's trying to watch Dora, right?
Yeah, and then he gets one of the other guys, one of the two nerdy guys to spin it for him. And then eventually it
Yep.
just breaks. Like the handle breaks.
Yeah, before you can find out if like Dora gets to the her destination.
Yeah.
That shit was funny, man.
That's one of the great episodes of that show.
Oh yeah, and then Walter is like
Stuck
getting
outside.
blown away in the
Yeah.
hurricane. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's interesting with that episode because obviously that episode is a battle episode, but the whole cast is in that episode.
Oh hell yeah.
Which in a way,
Yeah, and then the guy with the mullet hits on Drake's mom.
yeah,
right?
his mom, yeah. Because I guess what I'm trying to say is that it feels like battle episodes sometimes happen just out of being like, okay, we have to occupy like space in the episode run, but also we have to save budget, so we're just gonna do like an episode in one location. But with that episode, it was like, are you guys really saving budget? The whole crew, like the whole cast is here.
Yeah.
Like, you're paying all of these people to be here.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Like, it probably would have been cheaper. Like, I feel like a true battle episode for that show, like in the sense that it's like probably was like really cheap to film, is that episode where like literally just Drake and Josh are stuck in that treehouse.
Yeah.
Because it's literally you just got the main cast. It's them and
That's
then
a fun
Megan
one.
outside.
That's a fun episode.
That's a fun episode.
They eat like raw burgers
They
in that
did,
episode,
yeah.
which was like really sketchy. It's like I hope no kids attempt to
Doing
recreate.
this, yeah.
Could have gotten.
That was a show of a
we got
generation.
salmonella from that.
Mhm.
Can you only get that from chicken, or can you get that from all raw meat? Salmonella.
No, I think you can. I think it's only specific ones. I think red meat you can just eat it, and I think it'll probably just give you like some kind of food poisoning, maybe. But I know there's people who actually do eat it raw.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't he do it in Funny Games?
Yeah.
In the movie Funny Games, he just takes like raw meat out of the fridge, starts eating it, right?
Yeah, you can do that. If it's red meat, you can do that.
That's so
I
weird.
don't know why though. I don't know why red meat is just like a meat that you can basically like, cannibalize, like eat it raw. They don't know why.
Cannibalize. You mean like
Not
that was
cannibalize.
the wrong word.
What's the word for that?
Scarf down.
Yeah. So it's
Eat raw.
yeah. It's fascinating. I don't know what the whole idea with that is.
Dude, people were jonesing for their cigs back then, man.
Yeah, right.
Her brother was killed.
I mean,
This guy couldn't wait. He's like, I have to do this.
yeah. I mean, fuck. I got my nicotine gum right here.
And then I have to put my hands in my pockets, and then I have to throw my hands around angrily.
Yep.
You can see that his wife hates him.
Oh,
he hates him.
Why don't you do something?
This is chastising him. She hates him. She's like, you're useless.
Oh yeah. She's looking at those two. She's like, "Oh, I wish I could be with a real man."
Those guys are already taken.
Look at him, like, he's like patronizing.
He is.
So funny.
See,
Oh snap! Oh,
take my orders. You
Oh,
leave that girl
snap,
alone.
man.
That's leave her
he's
alone.
taking charge.
He's
Dude.
taking charge. He told him, he was like, you better stop talking. Because all that guy does is just boss people around. He's actually not doing anything.
Oh. That's awesome.
It's like, bro.
Dude, he's got the rifle too.
Exactly.
Like, I can talk all the shit.
Exactly.
that
And if I was the other guy,
damn
I
well
would listen
please.
to him. It's like this guy's the only guy in here with a weapon.
Yeah.
And he's also physically stronger than I am. So I should probably just listen to this guy.
Did you ever wonder how much shit you would suddenly start talking if you were like the only person with a gun?
Yeah, right? You're telling
Or,
everybody
like-
to shut up.
Sometimes I think about that. Like if I'm like, I often think about what if, because that show The Boys has Homelander, and it's basically a thought experiment. Like, what if Superman wasn't just an asshole?
Yeah.
What if Superman was just a narcissistic sociopath? And I started thinking to myself, like, what if, dude, if I had Homelander's powers, how much of a dick would I become? Like, how? It's not even how much of a dick would I become.
Basically,
the answer
you're,
to that
you're,
is a
you're
massive
basically
one.
saying, like, how much of a dick would I be if I was Justin Bieber?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I just feel like, I think if anybody had Superman's powers, I think the only thing that would vary would be how long it would take you to become a massive asshole.
Yeah. Because nobody can do anything against you. You're the absolute authority. Like, I'm Superman.
Yeah.
I'm indestructible. You can't kill me.
Yeah. I think it would take me a while to stop taking World Order seriously,
Mm-hmm.
I think I would still, even with Superman's powers, I think I would still buy in to the whole idea for a long time of like, there's law and there's, this matters, like our society that we've built, like things matter, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think I would remain sort of, because we all have that in us where, like, we could sit around and say all day long, like, oh, society's a joke and the fabric of society is so thin and da-da-da. But it's like, at the end of the day, we're all following, most of us out here anyway, are following the law. And, if we got caught doing something really, really bad and we're sent to jail, we would be like, oh, fuck, you wouldn't be talking all that shit then,
Would make an apology video like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't watch it yet. I gotta see that. Dude, did you hear about Russell Brand?
What about him?
He got a bunch of, he's got like 4 rape accusations.
Really? Like over the last week?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And like he released a video the other day. He's like, oh, absolutely deny it. Like, I absolutely unequivocally deny any of these charges against me.
Yeah.
That's so stupid, man. I like looked through his after I saw that video because I was like, I wanted to hear what this guy's saying about it. What's his response going to be? Which I don't know what he did. We have to wait and see what the verdict is.
Right.
It's not. It's different. Like with with Tate, with Andrew Tate, it's like I feel like there's just mountains and mountains and mountains, like a Mount Everest
What's
of
even gonna
evidence
what's even
against
gonna come
him.
out of that for that guy? Because isn't that guy just like kind of just doing whatever he wants right now, basically?
Who, Tate?
Yeah. What's he doing? Because I always
Well, he's just
see
awaiting
him.
trial.
Yeah, I always I see him often, like just like collaborating with people and like on video calls.
Oh yeah. No, he's just out on bail, I guess. They can't hold him anymore.
He's awaiting prosecution.
Yeah, exactly. He's just awaiting the trial date. He's just in that limbo, between like your initial arrest and then your trial.
Yeah.
But I mean, Andrew Tate, I draw the line, at self snitching.
Mm-hmm.
Like even before a verdict has come out, that's when I can say, okay, this person's probably fucking guilty.
Right, like the
beyond a reasonable
the
doubt.
thing with that Danny Masterson guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the verdict was reached. You know what I mean?
30
It's
years
like,
for that. 30 years to life for that guy.
yeah.
What a
Fuck,
scumbag.
man. Was he? Yeah, I mean, he was in. Wasn't it like some Scientology shit or something?
He is. Yeah, he's Scientologist.
Yeah, and they did like some weird sex cult shit, didn't they?
I guess.
That's where all that came out of.
I don't know. I haven't really looked too much into that. I just saw that he was convicted for that.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Russell Brand.
But the funny thing, dude, is like about that whole thing with like Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, that they had like sent. It's interesting because they had sent the judge like character letters, like fanning him.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was like they sent them to him. They sent those letters like after the guy was already like convicted. Like they sent the letters like after they had been like we're gonna like after they sent the letters like after they had placed the charges, and they were just gonna determine like how long, like they sent them like 2 weeks before they said like you're gonna get 30 years.
Holy shit!
So like it looks horrendous that they did that, and I read the letters.
What? Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
I read. I didn't read them. I read like the last like few lines of each one of them, and the last few lines of the one from Ashton Kutcher is just him being like, he's my friend and my mentor, and he's a good human being. And the worst thing, dude, the worst thing that he said, and people are like really angry at him because Ashton Kutcher has like, he's like a member of like sex trafficking organizations and stuff like that. So he's like somebody who's like out here trying to make a difference in the world with these things. And in the letter he wrote that incarcerating Danny Masterson would have been like a tertiary crime in and of itself.
Wait, doing what would have been?
That putting him in jail, that would have been like a third like crime in its own. He said that to the judge.
That's
so because like he did the things that he did to 2 women, so he was saying that this would be a third crime, that it would be bad.
What the fuck kind of
exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like, oh my god, Edward murdered somebody. You putting him in jail is the second crime.
Exactly, that's what he said.
Stupid.
He said literally that.
Dude, letters of like
character
attesting are so stupid when they come from like a friend. I'm sorry. Like I would do it for you, but I would recognize that it's really dumb.
You should do it for
so
me
biased.
if I'm being convicted for a serial crime.
Right. I would do it, but I would recognize that it's really stupid because of how biased it is.
Exactly.
Like I remember
exactly
when I was in high school, I knew this guy who it was like second year of high school. He sat at our lunch table. And like he basically got caught in the bathroom, in the school bathroom. Him and his buddy, they got caught in the school bathroom with alcohol, and they both got like fucking suspended for the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. And so like the next day, I go over to our lunch table.
That's a really hard suspension.
Oh yeah, his other friends are sitting there writing out a letter like, Greg is a good kid and he would never do any of the things that.
Shapiro is a good kid.
It's just like, what the fuck? I'm like, you know how dumb this is gonna look to these, these bureaucrats when you turn them in. They're gonna look at these letters and start laughing at you.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid.
Because it feels like you would really have to find people that it's like, do you know this person? Have you had some interactions with them? And for them to be like, oh yeah, I'm just like, are you friends with them? It's like, not really. They've just had interactions with them. I mean, like, can you write a character letter about them? Because it's like you're an unbiased person who has had interaction with this person.
Yeah. Well, also character letters though are really dumb too, in the sense of like it doesn't have anything to do with the crime that was committed.
Tom, are you sure about the phone?
The phone is dead out. All you get is a recorded message.
If I could only call the folks. They're going to be so worried about us.
It'll be all right. As soon as we get to Willard, we'll call.
Oh shit, dude, you fuck up the.
Did I really?
No, I think you went back forward, so you're good. We're good.
Okay. It's like, did something happen?
Are you sure we're doing the right thing?
Doesn't matter for a couple seconds off.
Well, the television said that's the right thing.
What was I gonna say?
You're talking about the character letters.
Character letters are really dumb too, in the sense that they don't have anything to do with the actual crime that was committed.
Yeah.
That's what's so stupid. That I've seen videos on YouTube of like, this is the side of Andrew Tate that the media won't show, and it's like a video of him with his little daughter being like, "Hi, sweetie," and like picking her up, and like, I'm like, who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? So what? This piece of shit loves his daughter. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
So what? But they did that with Trump too. It was like they would show a video of Trump saying something like nice about somebody, and then they'd have like a little like country song in the background, like sentimental song in the background, where he's just like, she was a great woman, she was really an amazing woman, regardless of the political stance, regardless of politics, she was incredible, there's nothing else to say. And it's just like, who fucking cares that this guy, this massive asshole, said like something nice about someone?
Yeah.
But people get fooled by that stuff, man.
Yeah, I guess it's like, man, it doesn't matter who it is. They're gonna do something nice at some point, or have something about them that is like at least like defendable.
Right.
It's like, oh, the dogs really liked him. He had a lot of dogs. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Oh yeah. I was about to bring that up too. Yeah, yeah, it's Hitler. Hitler liked dogs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
She's right.
Yeah, but it's
then he liked them. He loved them, and they loved him.
Right.
So it's like, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like I think people who get fooled by that, like a video of Tate that I mentioned, where it's like, oh, look at him, he's happy, and he's with his daughter, and look how great of a man he is. It's just like, man, I'm like, people really don't know how to connect the dots.
Right.
It's like, I don't know. Oh yeah, this is the part where
he's happy. He's a good man.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh look, he's got a little kid. But again, it's like the whole politicians kissing babies on the head thing. It's like, how fucking gullible are you? How you that easy to manipulate, where someone can. I don't know. It's just dumb.
That was such an intense look from that guy.
Yeah.
He was looking at her so intensely. It's like, I'm going out there, but I won't die.
I think horror these days is missing a lot of times. Is a character like that guy who just opened the window. This guy, the skeevy guy. They're really missing.
You mean this guy, the bald guy?
Yeah, like the horror. I like horror movies where there's like a Weasley character where you're just ready for him to get his comeuppance. You're like that. The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser version, had that with that Benny character. who's just like a weasel,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the whole movie you're just waiting for him to get what's coming to him.
His.
Yeah, that's an archetype that's not used a lot in horror these days, but I feel like they used to use it more.
You said the guy's just like fire. Yeah, I feel like film in a way has kind of lost a lot of those like minor, silly roles like that. Of just being like, this is a character who's gonna serve this purpose, you know?
Right. I just thought as randomly this past week, you know, there's like a Saw 10 or whatever coming out this October.
Another one?
Yeah, another Saw movie. They released a clip of it on YouTube, and the trap, it was like eyeball vacuum was what the trap was called.
I remember that, dude. I've had that in my head. I've had that in my head for a long time.
You've thought of,
yeah.
where like you're thinking of Saw traps, and that one pops in.
No, like for years I've had that in my head. It's like, oh, if I was like some mob guy, I'd be like, we're gonna get a vacuum and we're gonna suck out your eye unless you tell us what you know.
Yeah. Well, Edward, I don't think about those sorts of things, but no.
Oh, I guess I'm alone with that one. I guess it's just me.
No, I mean, we all think of things like horrible ways to die or get injured, but no, I'm just messing with you, man. But like, there was, they had the clip of it. Look, they're doing day for night here.
Yeah.
But in the clip, the guy is, he's like strapped to a chair, and he's got 2 vacuum tubes hooked up to his eyes. And of course, you know, Jigsaw's voice comes on, you know, do you want to play a game? Yeah. Christian Bale's Batman. And then to escape the trap, he has to I forget how he activates them, but there's like each of his fingers is connected to a piece of metal wiring, and he has to he has to activate these switches, and each switch breaks one of his fingers. So he's got to break all of his fingers in order for the eyeball vacuum to not go off.
That's the thing that I've always hated about that. That it's like such like BS. It's like, why does it have to be like this? Like, why do I have to break? Why do I have to break all my fingers?
Wait, what did you think he was just gonna make it easy for you, Edward?
Well, no, because it's like I think these movies like forget like the spirit of the first one. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Because it's like, at some point, these movies just become like this torture. Like it is, because it's like it's grotesque. Like to watch those movies is grotesque, you know.
Oh, of course.
Like there's a movie where they have to like. I remember that the first thing they have to do is like cut their limbs, and whoever cuts the most off of themselves and wastes it on like a weight thing lives, and the other person dies. You know.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But the thing is that if you remember these movies, like if you remember the first film, the James Wan movie. Like, the whole idea with that film was that they didn't have to do what they did, you know?
Right.
Like, obviously, the obvious solution was cut off your limb. Like, if you want to get out of here, you know, you have until this time, or the door will be locked forever, you know?
Right.
And what you have to do is take that saw and cut your foot off, you know?
Right,
So it's like, oh, but at the end of the movie reveals, like, no, they had this other option. It's like, if they had thought about it and kind of disconstructed the whole thing and thought about it backwards, you know, they could have gotten out of this without having to do all that. So it's like an element of fairness, because there's like, you know, you're giving the tortured person 2 options. Like, you either do this or you do this, you know.
Yep.
And obviously they don't want to do the option that leads to survival. They don't want to do it because it's like something horrific, you know.
Right.
But then, you know, you also give this, it's a puzzle, you know. That's the thing about the first movie, it's a puzzle. The whole movie you're just like watching these guys trying to figure it out. And that's what's so engaging. One's a fun
kind of psychological
Exactly, and that's what's so engaging about it. But then the movies after that are not that. They're literally just like, watch these people kill themselves. Like how fun,
yeah. Torture
cool.
porn.
Exactly. It's unwatchable. Like I can't believe people. I can't believe they keep making them, and I can't believe people watch them because it's like it's unwatchable. Because it's like there's no like intellectual like merit to those films. There's none.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you didn't figure anything out. There was nothing to figure out. It was either you live or you die. And you live. If you live, you're gonna live horrifically, and if you die, you're gonna die horrifically. It's no.
Yeah.
There's no in between. There's no third secret hidden option.
Right.
It's
Which of the
BS.
Saw movies have you seen? Because I've only seen one and Jigsaw.
I've seen a handful. Like I've seen the first two. Like the second one.
I've seen like clips from.
The second one's horrible because the second one, like, it's not horrible in the sense that it's like a horrible movie. It's horrible in the sense that the things that they make those people do. Like, there's one instance in the second movie where like a guy has to get a key because in the second movie they have to go from room to room to room, and it's like a group of people. And there's an instance in like they go into a room, and to get out of the room, one of them has to basically jump into a pool of needles, like infected, like old used needles, and search for a key.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that clip.
That's just grotesque. Right?
They just gross. Like toss some girl in, right?
Yeah, it's gross. And then all those things are just like sticking out of her because they're all just pinching her.
Yeah,
dude, it's gross, man. Like I can't take those movies. But I've seen like, I think I would say that I've seen maybe 4 of them.
I gotcha.
Like I know that I've seen like I think I've seen for a fact. I think I've seen like the one before the last one, like the one before the last of the series. Like I think it was like Soul, the final or whatever. I think I
final
saw
chapter.
Yeah, I think I saw the one before the final chapter, and I think I saw the first and second, and I think I saw the 5th one. And then I've seen 5 because then I also saw the Jigsaw movie that we saw in school.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be another
Yep.
broadcast at 3 o'clock.
I've seen too many of them, and they are gross.
Yeah, I've seen I've seen like clips from the sequels. I saw that needle clip. I saw the worst trap that I remember was the one where the guy's like strapped to the he's like strapped just to this big contraption that just twists all of his limbs and then twists his head all the way around.
Really?
Remember that one?
I don't know. I saw that. I think this is the 5th one because I think it's either the 5th one or the 7th one. The one in which the lead singer from Linkin Park, the guy who passed away, he's in one of those movies. And
is he?
I think he's like his back gets torn off of him. I saw that.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. Oh.
I don't even know why you would want to be in one of those things.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Chris Rock is in one of them.
Oh yeah. Dude, yeah, there was one that came out like a year ago.
Yeah,
it was
Chris
called
Rock.
Spiral or whatever.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Just randomly.
They
Chris
really
Rock.
are making those like crazy still. I mean, I think it's one of the highest grossing horror franchises of all time.
I bet they keep making them.
Yeah.
It has an audience. Like people. Obviously there's people who like that. People keep watching them.
Yeah.
She's too weak. Well, one of us could try to get to the car.
You're gonna turn it over by yourself?
You can't.
He's like, oh, really?
Oh, she was asleep like the rest of the movie. Like,
Yeah, I know, but where is it?
yeah. Like, zombies are outside like playing with entrails.
There's a naked one. Just randomly.
Good Lord.
They're eating.
Yeah, they're eating with their hands, man. I guess I don't know. Do the zombies in Walking Dead eat with their hands? But they kind of just like bend down and eat like a dog.
Yeah, I think they eat like animals.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they're like they're sort of blaming it in this movie on radiation. So they're still kind of this movie still is definitely still a product of the time where it was again in that what I said before, that silver age, what Cinemassacre coined. That silver age of horror, that 50s and 60s, there was a lot of that atomic age. It's where obviously Godzilla came out of that era, and you know, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms and those big bug movies and all that. But they're still kind of doing that thing with, you know, they're implying here on the news that it's radiation that's causing
So those good old boys hunting down
the
the zombies.
dead to walk. Yeah, them good old boys.
Look at them go.
The plan is to kill the brain.
Yeah.
And you kill the
The
ghoul.
ghoul. I like that word. I feel like that word fell out of use because of the word zombie, but I think ghoul is like a really cool word.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it is,
It
man.
is.
Yeah.
It is. I've used it in my writing before.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
As a writer of horror,
There's a Japanese.
I use it when appropriate.
There's a Japanese manga series called Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, but they're like zombies and not zombies. They're like vampires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you know what I want to watch? Again, this Halloween season is Hellsing.
Really?
Dude,
Oh,
Hellsing's
the show.
awesome.
The show. That's what I thought. For a second, I thought you were talking about Van Helsing.
Oh, the Hugh Jackman movie.
Yeah.
I like that around Halloween too. I
Those
like
Van
how they
Helsing
captured
films.
I mean, it's not a great movie, but they really captured the feel of the Universal, you know, monsters well in that movie. I kind of liked how, you know, I like it as like a tone piece.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the anime Hellsing.
Yeah.
Shit's awesome,
You know
dude.
what the thing is? I probably should watch that too because I never finished it. I've only seen like the first 4 episodes of that.
Yeah, it's really good. I've watched a good bit of it.
Because I've seen the old one. Because there was an anime from the early 2000s, and I've seen that one in its entirety. And it's not
Okay.
that one's not very good because they're not faithful to the source material, and it just kind of devolves into nothing. But the remake one, the one that you've seen, like with the better
Hellsing
animation,
Ultimate.
yeah, I have to
Yeah.
finish that one. I think I've only gotten to episode 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
That's the one that starts. That's the one that has that theme song, that Denzel Curry theme song for the show. I am the one, the one.
Does it sound like that? I can't remember now.
No, no, I'm just making a joke. Helsing Ultimate.
Oh yeah, ultimate.
Yeah, behold my awesomeness.
Your esophagus.
The guy's got to come out with a new album. Like the last, like he mentioned recently that he was not making a new album, and that he was just gonna be releasing like singles and like loose tracks because he's not being like on album mode or whatever. I was like, dude, it's been long enough, man, since that other album came out.
Yeah, it has been a while. Yeah, the dude, like this shit right here. This shit gets me. Just trapped in a house with all the lights off. Bunch of zombies trying to bust down the. Dude, you'd be shitting your pants.
And they gotta get out of there
Just shit in my pants.
because it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
At that point, like it's a matter of time. There's too many zombies outside. They're trying to break in. You guys are too few to hold them back.
Yeah. Because nobody could keep it the hell down, man. They just kept making noise, and the
kept
zombies
shouting.
kept closing in.
These
Yeah.
guys, they're gone.
Oh, now, yeah. He's like, now I have the power. But yeah, like it's a good
But what a
representation of
fool.
society.
Yeah, 'cause
it's
it's
like,
like-
ooh, now I have.
Yeah, because
I have the power.
But at what cost?
I'm in control.
Because you should have been helping this guy out, not trying to just get the gun from him. No, he's like, I have the gun, so I'm gonna take the gun and I'm gonna get my wife and just sell it.
Oh shit.
What an
Yeah, see,
idiot!
now this guy's like Denzel Curry. He's like, I don't need a gun to get respect.
Up on the streets. What an idiot! He shoots him, doesn't he?
I think he does.
I think he does.
Just blast him away. He's like a knuckle.
Yeah, he shot him.
Because the guy's like, the guy's just been a freaking,
He's like, you're not gonna disrespect me.
yeah, because the guy has been a freaking loose cannon the entire movie.
He shot him in front of his wife. Now he's gonna trickle down the stairs.
Yep. Oh yeah, we still got the bitten girl down there. I like how she's sort of like a ticking time bomb. You're just kind of like, what the hell's, where's this going?
Yeah, because the movie
Great
forgets.
camera work there.
The movie forgets about her.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, they put her on the back burner, and then it keeps kind of coming back, where you're like, oh yeah, that thing.
Now they're getting this one. It's funny that she hated her husband because like he got the gun and he was like, "Come with me, get in the cellar," and she's kind of like, "I don't know, maybe we should be helping this guy out."
Yeah.
And then he just shot him.
Oh shit.
Oh boy.
She's already eaten, man. Damn, bro.
So, oh, Dad, it's kind of salty. He's bold.
Yeah, Mom, you got some salt and pepper.
I need something flavorful. She grabs a weapon.
Oh, this part's fucked.
Oof. Wrong dawn.
Oof.
Oof. The sounds were not pleasant.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, her screams, the echoing like that. It's very
that was
upsetting.
Great. It was great. Yeah, it was great.
And they mix in like a little girl's voice. Like it kind of, I don't know. It's like it almost makes you think of, just a couple days. It reminds you that a couple days earlier it was just a mom and a daughter.
Yeah.
Enjoying life probably. Besides Dad being a jackass. But yeah, too little, too late. There. Oh, that's her brother?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's returned.
He came in looking like Tom DeLonge from Blink-182.
Well, I guess she met her fate. She was like, well...
Ooh, she got taken by the Horde. That would be the worst way to die.
Because they just tear you apart.
I'd rather drown, I think. I think I'd rather drown or burn. I think getting torn up by zombies would be... They just
tear you apart, one by one.
Yeah, that'd be the worst.
While you were alive and kicking. He just threw her to the side. It's like, get out of the way. He just waits it out, right?
Yeah.
He literally just waits it out. And then eventually he comes out.
Yeah.
He just waits it out.
Yeah. Honestly, they should have all just gotten in the cellar originally.
I guess that guy was right, wasn't he?
Yeah, he kind of was.
He was right. So let's just get in the cellar and let's be quiet.
Because it's weird here. They know he's in there, but they still can't get through, I guess, because he survives until the morning.
He just barricades the door and that's enough.
Yep.
He survives.
Yep. You know what movie has the best?
They really just wanted to get in there and be warm. They really just wanted to get inside. It's cold out here.
They just start sitting around and chilling.
Yeah.
That one with the glass is right there. I don't know. He was in the crowd, smacking the door with something. He looked really out of place. He just looked like a guy. They should have put more makeup on him.
Yeah, he's a fella. He's a guy.
Isn't this guy gonna come to life now?
And his wife. You're gonna have to
I don't know if she got bit, right? Yeah, she got. Oof.
Yeah, no, I don't think she got bit. I think the girl just killed her, stabbed her multiple times.
Yeah, he got to kill this guy twice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he hated.
He's hell yeah, I hated that guy.
And he shouldn't have done that. He shot him. It's what are you doing? You should have gotten the thing from the woman, the whatever that thing was, that thing, and just stab him.
Yeah.
He's why did you shoot him? You're making too much noise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she does come back. Yeah. The girl must have been eating her.
He's like, I got no bullets. He threw her to the side.
Yeah, you know what movie has the best scenes of the freaking gnarliest scenes of zombies tearing people up is Day of the Dead.
Really?
That one, yeah, it has several parts where, I mean, Tom Savini just went nuts with the gore and stuff in that movie, because there's a couple parts where um people get torn up real fucking bad by zombies in that movie. Like there's one kill where the zombies like pull the guy's head off, and like as they're pulling it off, you see like all the tendons and like vocal cords peeling away,
Mm-hmm.
and like he's still screaming.
Ugh,
And
that's gross.
as they pull the vocal cords off, his scream like gets really high pitched. It's like fucking
That's horrendous.
yeah, it's a gnarly. They tear one guy completely in half like that. The freaking practical effects and zombie kills in that movie are absolutely gnarly.
Now it's the next day.
Yep.
Everybody's chilling. Everybody's cooling. And these guys are shooting whoever they see first sight.
Them good old boys are
On
out. Well,
sight.
I done seen a zombie walking up the.
On sight, they will kill anybody.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be careful. When you see a zombie, you gotta shoot them through the between the eyes, and they gonna go down.
They'll go down.
I was trying to do an impersonation of that guy from King of the Hill, the
Really?
blonde guy. That guy's my favorite. The one who just like can't
with the glasses.
Can't form a. No, not that one. The other one.
The guy with the hat.
Like, I don't know if he wears a hat. He's just blonde. He's like one of the four.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
He like never talks in full sentences. He's just like, well, well, your Seinfeld, that Seinfeld show, and like you never, you know what I mean? He never like forms a full sentence.
Yeah.
Nick, you and the rest of these men want to come with me?
Tell Bill to check me off to see what's happening.
All right, Steve, tell him we're going to stay with it, and everything appears to be under control.
Yeah, this part. I mean, dude, I don't know. It's like, was this really an accident? This scene.
Right.
I don't know if I believe George Romero. This is very.
Him.
It was smack dab in the middle of the civil rights movement, like in the heat of the civil rights movement.
Yeah, no, I don't believe him. And it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like a lot of the time filmmakers just like downplay things.
Yeah.
They go like, oh no. It's like that. It's like that. What is his name? What's his name? Levin Skilligan thing. It's like,
Oh yeah,
that was actually a cinematographer.
Yeah, well, that was actually our wonderful director of the art department director came up with that idea.
They need you down there by the barn. You guys can follow the wagon down. I only need a few men to check out the house. Somebody had a cookout here, Vince. Yeah, sure looks like it.
The guy looks like Harvey Weinstein.
What, the big guy?
Yeah.
Kind of like Jeff from Curb.
Yeah.
Also looks like Harvey Weinstein.
Yes. That's such a great bit.
Oh yeah. Damn, bro.
This guy can't believe his luck. I can't believe it. I swear.
Another great thing too about the original Dead trilogy is each one takes place in a different decade. Was made in a different decade, takes place in a different decade, and each one kind of has social commentary relevant to the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one's very. There's obviously like these sort of civil rights, race undertones here, and then Dawn, they were sort of ripping on consumerism, the consumerism culture, I guess, that may have been going on at the time. And then in the 80s, you definitely have this sort of suspicion of,
like
military and government.
Cold War type stuff.
Yeah, some Cold War stuff. Oh, they got him, man.
Yep. Good shot.
Damn,
That's
dude.
another one for the fire.
Man. Oh, these photos here are so creepy.
Yeah, they're really creepy. Like the photos like really unsettle you.
It makes it feel real.
Yeah.
Looks like Robert De Niro.
But also, these photos just make it seem like it adds to kind of that element of it, of kind of making it seem like some kind of like weird, you know like some kind of just like weird
Documentary.
yeah, about just like the killing of like a man of color.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's interesting is he did the same. Toby Hooper did the same thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he cited this film as a huge influence. Where he always felt he was starting to feel jaded with horror, where he just felt like it wasn't scary during the 60s, and horror was there was sort of a lull in the genre in the 60s. As far as I can remember, at least. I mean, you had this movie, The Birds, Psycho. What else really was there in the 60s? I can't really think of much off the top of my head. But he said this movie, when he saw this, he was like, that's how you do it. And it fired him up to make Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But, because this movie, I think Night of the Living Dead, man, they when film historians talk about it, I mean, I think it really was, one of the big catalysts for horror becoming more violent and more scary. I mean, certainly, like when you watch one of those old Vincent Price movies, it's still tame, and then something like Night of the Living Dead comes along, all gory, and little girl killing her mom and shit.
This is a battle movie.
Yeah, it's it really kind of kicked off the horror being scary and gory. I think, at least.
Yeah, great movie, man. Great pick. I mean, I really enjoyed watching that again. And as always, that ending of that film is very effective.
It is, yeah. Just that documentary feel of it. Yeah, it's so creepy, man. But yeah, no, that was fun. Obviously, we tangented and shit, but I feel like that movie, the movie holds up, man.
Yeah, no, it holds up. It really does. It really holds up, and I love doing these commentaries because they're always like, it's. I feel like it's great just like watching a movie, and talking about it at the same time, and just like doing the free flow conversation of it. But this film really holds up. Like, I have to give it to this film. And every time I watch it, I think to myself, like, I forgot to watch the sequels. I've got to watch the other ones. And then I never do.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should throw that on the watch list for October if we have time. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll throw one of them on the rotation, so to speak.
Well, for me, for next week, I do have an interesting one.
Oh yeah, what you got, man?
And it is also a George Romero movie.
Oh no shit!
And it is from the 70s, so we are going from the 60s to the 70s.
Okay.
And it is also a movie about ghouls, but not zombies. It's a movie about vampires.
Oh shit! Is it No, it's not. He didn't do I Am Legend, did he?
No, this is a movie called Martin from the 1977.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this is on my watch list. Yeah. Yep.
So drama horror. Directed by George Romero, and the tagline is "He could be the boy next door."
Yeah, man, this has been on my watch list actually. It's funny you picked that. And by the way, for anyone out there who thinks I'm dumb, I Am Legend wasn't just the Will Smith.
The Will Smith movie.
There were other. No. Yeah, there was another I Am Legend.
No, I know that. I know that.
I gotta. Oh yeah, I'm always was defending my intellect on this podcast.
I'm not an idiot, I swear.
I swear I'm not stupid.
But no, this was a great pick. And I wanted to pair this with a vampire movie. And Martin is a movie that I've wanted to see since the last Car Seat Headrest album, because one of the songs in there is called Martin.
Uh-huh.
And I think it is based on this movie. And since then,
Really?
I've wanted to watch the movie.
Oh no shit!
So yeah, so this is I felt like this was a good time because I wanted to be a vampire movie, and this is the one that I've been missing.
That's okay. Interesting. Yeah, this movie made it onto my watch list because I actually didn't end up watching it, even though I wanted to have it as sort of a research piece for a story that I just finished, a short story where has similar plot elements, I guess you could say, as what I gleaned from this movie, like on a very base level. From what I understand, this movie is sort of a character like losing their mind or something, but with some supernatural elements to it, possibly, which is basically the story that I just finished, and but I never ended up watching it, so it's kind of timely that we're watching it now. Yeah. But yeah, George Romero, he's got an interesting filmography because besides the zombie films, he has Creep Show. He did like with Stephen King, which I haven't seen Creep Show. That's on my watch list. And he did The Crazies, the original The Crazies from the 70s, which I saw the remake of that, which was not good. But I did add the original to my watch list.
Yeah, no, I've not seen the original or the remake.
Yeah, The Crazies is basically it's basically a zombie movie. It's more like a 28 Days Later style zombie thing with, sort of like a rage virus type thing going on. But anyway, yeah. So hey, I'm down with continuing the George Romero train, dog.
Yeah, let's continue. We're changing decades. We're staying with George Romero, and then we're changing the creature of the film.
Hell yeah! All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. Always remember, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get notified, and stick around because we're gonna be celebrating. We're gonna keep on celebrating the spooky season early this year, and we're gonna keep that spooky train rocking and rolling until November 1st, baby.
Yeah, maybe even past that.
Yeah, right. You never know.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks, guys.
Next time. Bye.